has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast.
I mean, I know you're going to talk about it later at some point, but I got to tell you, this Cardinal Diamante golf course in Cabo San Lucas is just exotic Jones, man. Like, right there on the ocean. It's just wind whipping. What a magnificent golf course. Now, I've played at a bunch of great golf courses there in Cabo San Lucas. What a great spot that is for golf and for partying. I mean, to tell you, living it up. We saw him downtown there today, just throwing down, blazing sunshine. It's gorgeous there, as always. And this golf tournament's just rocking. How beautiful is that place? That's Tiger's spot.
Tiger designed that course. That place is magnificent. And every day of the year is a party down there. Just make sure you're inside by the time the sun goes down. Every day of the year, just make sure you're in your resort by the time the lights go out.
At Stammy Hagar's bar, watching a band. And when I left, there was a national, the Army. They got the Army there. And the guy's got like a machine gun on every corner. I'm like, Jesus, how are we getting back to the resort? But in the daytime, it's exotic.
In the actual tournament, Tom Whitney is 5 under, and he leads right now, and a host of others. Not on my card, by the way, Tom Whitney. Although I do see Justin Suss 4 under through 5, so he's got some potential right now. Yes, has got a chance to maybe be the leader by the end of the day down there at the Worldwide Technology Championship. All right, Sunday night, we got a pretty good game this week. The Lions, who we both think and many others are the best in the NFC, heading down to Houston to face the Texans. Now, Houston's ran into a little bit of a problem the last few weeks, Scotty. In their last 3 games, they have not scored a touchdown in the second half. All field goals. 2 of those games have been losses, including last week to the Jets. Here's DeMeco Ryans on those offensive struggles in the second half.
Yeah, man, we've been in every game we've talked about. We've been in the games. We just, people, I guess it's this narrative like we just not a good team. But we've been in games. We just haven't made the plays that, it's not from a matter of, effort and those things. It's a matter of being on the details, and that's what the league is about. The team who are on the details, especially in those critical moments.
I think it's that their best players are all injured, and they're playing with all these backups, and they're just not getting it done.
That is precisely it. They have obviously gone the last few weeks without both Nico Collins and Stephon Diggs. Now, there's talk that maybe Collins will be back this week. They'll shall see. I know he was limited in practice yesterday. That would be a big boost for them if they could get him. Before I give you the numbers, I will say there's a couple teams dropping some of these uniforms. Now, I didn't get this one in time, but the Ravens are rocking this all purple tonight. That looks really cool. It's unfortunate that they're the Ravens. And look what the Texans are doing Sunday night.
Whoa.
All red. Just the all red unis debuting against the Lions. I mean, those are unbelievable. Even the helmets.
Those really are. Those are stud. Badass.
And now it's too bad that they're going to look good, but they're going to lose anyway. Lions minus 3.5 at home. 48.5 is the total. I told you yesterday I like this under 48.5.
Listen, I don't think it's going to be easy in Houston, and I think the Texans are going to play better. I think they're going to score in the second half. I think that they'll find a way to make this a great game. This is going to be a great game Sunday night. Covering that hook is the key to everything as far as I'm concerned. But I do believe that the Lions are flat out better than the Texans on paper, optically, whatever way you want to look at it. I think they're better. To me, they're a touchdown and a field goal, for me, better than the Texans. So I think they can win by 7.
I believe that they will as well in that game. Lions safety Brian Branch, by the way, had to give the big apology for giving the bird to the Packer fans after he got ejected last week. So you always got to go and go to the podium and give the apology. after you flip off the fin.
Whatever. Like, I'm sure he didn't mean it at all because if he flipped him the bird, he meant it.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Why apologize? You clearly didn't like them. They were probably saying some derogatory. You can't do that, though, especially with that hit that he laid out on that guy.
Oh, in this
that got him the ejection.
All worked up about every little thing. And, emotionally, you can't say anything. You can't do anything. And, look at Kelsey. He had to walk back his little drop and F-bomb, gay, homophobic first session, smashing the kid's phone. He had to eat that. Everybody has to eat everything nowadays because, what would the Lord think?
Well, we're still waiting. We usually don't get I can't remember anyone just going up and saying, yeah, I'm not taking anything back. I meant it. We need one of those. Just say, I don't need to say sorry. I meant it. I wanted to give them the bird. Somebody will do it.
I actually know a lot of people like that, and I'm kind of in that same regard.
No taking it back. If you did it, you did it. No apologizing. All right. Yeah. The Niners.
It depends on what's at stake.
That's right. That's what depends. The Niners are 4-4 coming out of their bye week, and they have played their entire season without Christian McCaffrey. Of course, there is talk he is now back practicing with the team this week. Is he actually going to play on Sunday? Well, God forbid Kyle Shanahan ever gave us any good information about injuries. Here he is.
At what point do you think there will be a decision on whether or not Christian plays Sunday?
They already know he's playing.
To, publicly? Kick off?
What about in your mind? What do you need to see from him, or what does he need to tell you?
That he's just Christian McCaffrey, and he's not hurting. But, as long as everything goes well, it has in the rehab, so just as long as he doesn't get sore and have setbacks each day with practice. Usually if you get that in practice, that means it's going to be worse in the game. So hopefully you can string together 3 days in a row and not have any of those.
Yeah. If he does look like the Christian of old, does his workload become the workload of old, or is that something that you're going to be more cognizant of?
It definitely could, but it also definitely might not. So.
Yeah, listen, he really is ridiculous. Let's get real here. We all know the reality of this. What he just said about pain and practicing and games and pain was frankly laughable. What guy in the NFL plays on Sunday and doesn't feel crippled until Tuesday? Do you know what it's like to play in the NFL? And the day after the game, they don't even start talking to these guys till Wednesday. They're crippled until Tuesday. I mean, they can barely move. They can barely get out of bed. Every guy. What do you think? They're all just fantastic after these violent games? Christian McCaffrey. We'll see if he's sore after practice because it's, we don't want him to be sore after. Every single player is sore after they play on Sunday or Monday or Thursday. It doesn't matter Saturday. It doesn't matter when they play. They wake up in agony. That's it. That's all there is to it. And the older you are, the worse it is. And the more you've had injuries, the worse it is on top of that. This guy is always injured, but there's no denying he's great. He's a great player. He's always got a problem, but he is a great player. He's a game changer.
Game changer, and I think the books are starting to think he's playing because this has now gone to 6.5, and the total's even gone up to 50.5. So they're expecting McCaffrey out there as well.
Mike, one of the problems I have here is the same thing we just talked about, is that Baker Mayfield is playing with spare parts, and that's why they lost that game the other night in Kansas City. He's still playing with spare parts this week. The Niners are going to beat them.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play, and players win.
Are you okay with him moving to the head of the class of the Heisman with those two games? Because he wasn't even in the discussion before those two games.
This is a big opportunity for Dylan if he wants to continue to make his case for the Heisman Trophy, and I think he's shown that. What is he, a sixth-tier player who's going to probably end up setting most of the passing marks because he's been around for so long? So why not also throw a Heisman Trophy in the mix?
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're gonna go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's gonna help me get the job done. There is not gonna be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, so we're talking about Pain Day Skinny, and Caleb Williams has kind of hit a wall a little bit for the Bears. What's he saying?
Yeah, he has hit a wall a little bit, and I also wanted to give Eberflus a break because we've been picking on him so much, and rightfully so, the past week or so on Coast to Coast. But Williams hasn't been good either. Hasn't been getting DJ Moore involved, hasn't been getting Keenan Allen involved. Really, his accuracy has been a major issue, and let's just say he notices that, and he hopes to be better.
It's frustrating because, like you said, it's I've worked hard over the years of when I wanted to become a quarterback, of accuracy being the most important thing, and I still pride myself on that. And so, not being accurate, not being on time with things, is frustrating. Just because, like you said, I kind of. It's kind of been my thing, something I've been at least pretty solid at. And right now, I'm not as solid as I've been, not as solid as I pride myself on.
I just think it's the NFL. I mean, it is at such a different speed. It is so elite compared to even the strongest conferences in college football on a Saturday in the biggest games. It is a whole different world altogether. And remember, these are people, that are playing for money and to feed their families. There's no joke here. You get cut in 5 seconds, you're finished. Injuries everywhere, just like in college, but it's at a different rate, a different speed, a different level altogether. I think it's the most hardcore jump, Mike, in sports, I would say, is professional football. I think, I've seen college hockey players go into the NHL and have success immediately. I've seen college basketball players go into the NBA and dominate immediately, do whatever they want. And I've seen it in baseball. College baseball players can actually, I think the second hardest is baseball. I think the hardest thing to do is hit a baseball. I think that, but we've seen college kids have great success. All of these guys in the show are college baseball players. They all were in college. But the level of from college football to pro football to me is like from Earth to the moon. That's how hard it is.
It is a big jump, that's for sure. The Bears are 6.5-point favorites at home against the Patriots. 38.5 is the total coming up here this week. Patriots have been, they're 3-5-1 against the spread. They've been kind of spunky when May's been in there. I'll give them that, but I think this is the Bears understand this is the last chance for a while. I gave you the schedule the other day.
Yeah.
They got to win this game because they got some hard roads coming their way the next few weeks.
I think this is a done deal game for them. They lost in Arizona 29-9. I think that's what this is. 30-10, something like that. I really do. I think this is all Bears all day, Soldier Field. Everybody's drunk. That's that.
Everybody loves being drunk at Soldier Field as well. Not just in Germany.
Idea.
It's
like
Soldier Field.
Idea.
They enjoy it.
Like Buffalo, Chicago, Pittsburgh. It's just automatic.
Automatic. The Jets will be out in Arizona to see the Cardinals this week. Of course, they got a big win last Thursday over the Texans. And for the first time together, both Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson had huge nights. Aaron Rodgers loves the two big targets, and he says if this is going to happen, going to be very tough on the defense to decide who they want to go after.
Well, it starts with protection, so we got to be able to protect it up. But once we do that, teams got to figure out what they want to do. It's hard to double both guys, but if you do, that's opportunities for everybody else in the middle or on the outside. So, we need our tight ends step up. We need our young receivers step up. We've obviously used both our backs and some of that personnel with them on the field at the same time. So we'll keep mixing things up with that. But those guys are both dynamic players, and it's pick your poison.
So here's the thing for me in this game is that the Cardinals are going to run the ball down the Jets' throat. And
yes,
Kyler Murray can throw the ball. And they can score points. And they do score points. We know the Jets have weaknesses. I mean, they didn't get to their record where they are now by being good, right? They got there because they stunk it up. And then they finally win a game, and everybody thinks it's all solved and resolved and all of it's behind them, and they're just going to win every week. They have their hands full in Glendale. I don't even like their chances out there. I really don't. I think the Cardinals, you see what the Cardinals do to teams? They have two guys running the ball down your throat all day. This guy Connor's a problem. Murray's a problem. Harrison's a problem. They got all kinds of guys that can do things. And, I'll give you this. Adams and this kid, Wilson, I won't deny what they can do, but nobody else does jack.
Nobody else does jack. And look, the Cardinals have won 3 in a row. They've won 4 of their last 5. They're playing some pretty good football right now. Jets are 1.5-point road favorites now.
Come on.
46.5. Yeah, Jets are favored on the road 1.5 in this game. Jets are back after that win last week. Jets are back.
Yeah, give me Arizona. Thanks.
I like the under 46.5 because precisely what you said. I think Arizona's going to run the rock, and they're going to control this game that way. And that's why I think they're going to have a good time of possession, and they're going to be able to win this game like that. All right, we'll come back. I'll give you one more. I'll give you a couple more. I got Harbaugh when we come back. So we'll end all the videos with Harbaugh, get into a few other things, and then we got some NBA later this hour as well. So still plenty of things to do NFL-wise before we move across.
Yeah, like now they're showing yachts in the harbor and these giant, $50 billion yachts. And there's chicks on these yachts, barely wearing anything, drinking champagne, eating strawberries. I may need to go to the airport. I may need to be on one of those yachts by tomorrow.
Aeropuerte.
Putting on a little sunblock, having a few, maybe, getting in trouble. There's a lot of trouble, it looks like, down there in Cabo. I don't know what is happening here. It's dangerous, the lifestyle.
Gotta have it. Love
Golfing
it.
And
Gotta
hot
have
women in Cabo, baby. Cabo Wabo.
What can you say about Hunter? Besides the fact that he's got to be healthy. Remember, he had the shoulder injury that kind of limited him at, once he got to the end of the season. 17.9, 10.9 last year, and he should be, as usual, a double-double machine. He's got to be able to continue to show the ability to try and shoot the ball from three.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Always a good day on Coast to Coast when we get Jim Harbaugh on C2C.
We love Chargers coach Jim Harbaugh. He's given us some great audios already this year. And here's another one. This is him yesterday talking about, we've hit the middle of the season, and the middle of the season is very important for a variety of reasons. Here's Coach.
Yeah, the middle of the season is always critical that way. Like Bill Belichick talks about the middle eight in a football game. I mean, there's a middle eight in a season too. You could break it down, that way. 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, those are important games. The only joke I know is why was 6 afraid of 7? Because 7, 8, 9. 6, 7, 8, 9. Those are big games.
What is happening here? It is just fantastic. It gets better every time we do one.
What?
I don't even know if that was the worst thing I've ever heard, that joke. But I got to tell you.
You know what happened to 6, 7, and 8, 7, 8, 9? I mean, it's absolutely wild what that guy comes up with every week. And that's him. I think that's just him. I bet he's like that at the dinner table with the kids, the end of the night. I bet he says, I don't think you're getting anything like disingenuous. That's him. That's his whole act. I think the only one who kind of portrays himself as a big tough guy is the brother, obviously. I think John is more of a tough guy with the Ravens. I think that I think that the dad's probably like that, Jim's like that, and John's like that outside of the camera. I think John portrays more of a tough guy with the Ravens, but he's probably just like him at heart. Probably just like him, I would guess.
Listen, I just want the Steelers to beat the Ravens. I don't care about his brother. I really don't. And I think he's hilarious, and I really don't give a rat's ass about his dad either.
I'll give you the warning now, because I think we're a couple weeks away from them playing each other.
Oh,
and that'll be an all week long thing. I mean, we did 2 weeks of a Super Bowl with that 10 years, whatever it was, 12 years ago, 13 years ago with the Ravens and the 49ers. So get ready. I know the Chargers play the Ravens in a few weeks.
What'll happen this time? The lights will go out again?
That would be good. The Chargers have the Titans at home this week at SoFi, and they're 7.5-point favorites. 38.5 total. I think you'd probably do what they did to Cleveland last week, right? Probably run it down their throat and give them the business. Probably like 23-7, something like that.
I mean, Tennessee's pretty bad. So, like, you're looking at, the Chargers are pretty decent. I don't think they're on that good level yet where you're like, wow, I'm scared to death of them. They're a playoff team. But I think they're, as I've said earlier in the week, I think they're moving toward a playoff berth as a wild card at the worst. And, they're not, in my view, in Kansas City's league, but they're in that division. They got to get a wild card. And if you keep winning at where they are now, what are they, 5-3? So they keep winning. Yes. They'll win this game, and they'll be 6-3, and they're in business. In my opinion, they win 4 more. They'll be in as a wild card. I always feel like that number's around 10.
Yeah, and remember, they have I think they play the Raiders one more time, who stinks. It's actually a couple Mondays from now. Monday, November 25th. It's a Monday night football game, Ravens-Chargers at SoFi. That's the big Harbaugh brother game. They have the Falcons, the Chiefs, the Bucks, the Broncos. They do have a Patriots, and they finished with the Patriots and the Raiders the last 2 weeks of the season. So, like you said, if you can get to like 7 or 8,
that's Thanksgiving
week.
You
can win. Yes, that's the week of. Yes, the Monday going into Thanksgiving is the Ravens-Charger game out at SoFi. Patrick Mahomes practiced despite his sore ankle. I'm tired. He's fine. There's nothing wrong with Patrick Mahomes.
There's nothing wrong with him.
There's nothing wrong with him. Trevor Lawrence, unlikely to play this week. I know you've missed Mac Jones since the Patriots got rid of him. Well, you're going to see him, it looks like, Sunday against the Vikings in Jacksonville because it looks like Lawrence isn't going to go. Browns general manager Andrew Berry says Kevin Stefanski's part of the solution in Cleveland. But this is also the same guy who's, I think, still trying to sell people that eventually Deshaun Watson is going to be part of the solution too. So I wouldn't get too crazy about what Andrew Berry has to say.
I don't care what he says, but I think Stefanski has proven that he's a good coach, and he's not the problem. And then their quarterback was the problem, and their owner did that juicy deal. And the Jaguars are dead against the Vikings with Mac Jones playing.
What can you say about Hunter? Besides the fact that he's got to be healthy. Remember, he had the shoulder injury that kind of limited him at, once he got into the end of the season. 17.9, 10.9 last year, and he should be, as usual, a double-double machine. He's got to be able to continue to show the ability to try and shoot the ball from 3.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
go to the NBA now. How about the Grizzlies beat down to the Lakers last night off Beale Street? They had 3 guys with 20 points, Morant being one of them, and they just worked over L.A., and JJ wasn't happy.
No, he was not. 131 to 114 was the final. Now, LeBron had a big night. He had 39, sixth player in NBA history to play 1,500 games. But for the first time here, as the coach of the Lakers, and I believe it was J.J. Redick's 10th game as the head coach, there was a little frustration afterwards. He benched D'Angelo Russell for pretty much the entire second half and really thought that LeBron was the only guy that actually tried.
Yeah, I think LeBron was fantastic tonight. I mean, the biggest thing that stood out, I mean, I had no idea he had 39 until I'm not looking at the box scores during the game, but, you know, he played hard. You know, he's almost 40 years old and played the hardest on our team. Says a lot about him. It goes into choices. It goes back to choices. I think something that we've discussed as a group, and you have a choice every night for how you play, and it has nothing to do with making shots. There's got to be a group of people, 7, 8 guys, that make that choice, and we're a really good basketball team. If we have a handful, if we have 2 or 3, we're not going to be a good basketball team that night. So that's just the reality.
We talked a lot about wanting to play hard and LeBron being the guy that played hard in tonight's game. How do you address that with the team? What's your philosophy for approaching that?
I just did.
Oh, facial.
Oh, okay, bye. See ya. See you later.
Facial. Now look,
all right.
I'm torn here a little bit because, one, I think that his hard-ass act is, you know, it's going to be dangerous with vets that are making tons of money, and that he's one of them. He played in the league for a long time, and he's, you know, got this hard-ass act going where he's just one of them, and he's now a coach, and they may not buy his shtick because these guys don't listen. I've said this to you a million times, man. There is no pro athlete in sports like the NBA star player making $200 million. They don't listen to anybody. They don't listen to their wives. They don't listen to God. They don't listen to a coach. They don't listen to the media. They don't listen to anybody ever. But I actually, the more I think about it, this is why I'm torn. The more I think about it is they have sucked for a while. Don't give me their in-season tournament win. Don't give me their, you know, COVID championship. They have sucked for a while. And I think they actually need someone like this that is a hard ass with him. You know that Davis isn't going to listen. He leads the league in scoring. He's not going to listen to that little dude. And then LeBron ain't going to listen to nobody because LeBron runs the team. But I think they need J.J. Redick to give them the business, to be honest with you. And I think everything he said right there in those clips were dead on.
But let's also remember, I don't think LeBron's part of this because he's LeBron's guy. Like, this is LeBron's guy. They're tight. Did the podcast together. And I don't think he's wrong either. I think he's right to say LeBron, I mean, he's 40. He played the hardest out of anyone. I think that's also true. He's not just blowing smoke up LeBron's rear end to say, you're not part of the rant that I'm about to give about our team. I think LeBron likes that he says that about everybody else because I bet they don't like when LeBron says it to them. So I think it's good that there's somebody else saying it. So.
That don't matter, Mike. Like the rest of that lineup. Now let's calm down here on the, hillbilly Mamba or whatever they call him, Reeves. Like, he's got game. There's no doubt he's got game, but he's, come on. He has no juice. Hachimura, no one listens to him. They got a bunch of guys on that team. They got one guy, that's in trouble with the law. They got all kinds of guys that don't matter on that team, and that's just all there is to it. Like, he's talking, like even Russell. But listen, you've seen Russell go off in games for the Lakers and absolutely go off, and he has a bad night, and then he benches him. So be it, whatever.
But I think he's kind of like he's the linchpin to the Lakers being really good or sucking because you know what you're getting out of LeBron and AD. I think Russell is so good. There's nights he can be that third guy that scores 30 points and hits a ton of threes And then there's
Gotta
nights
work.
like last night where he's just not giving it, and Redick was like, sit the hell down. Like, and when he's not doing that, you're right. That supporting cast after them, it's not great. It's average. It's real average.
Guys,
they need his
do
head
whatever
on
they
straight.
want in that league. They take the night off
Yes.
all the time. They don't want to play, and they just go through the motions. And listen, it's no different. Like, I'll play in the morning. Some mornings I get up at 5 a.m, go play basketball. I want to play basketball about as much as I want to get hit by a truck. And like, I played the other day, and I got all kinds of injuries, and I'm just like going through the motions. I just ran up and down and passed the ball and gave it to the best players and let them win. And then there's other days when I'm cutting and I'm moving and I'm trying to get the ball and put it in the hole. And there's days when you don't have it. But in the NBA, when you're getting paid roll over millions of dollars and you don't try, I think that he got exactly what he had coming to him.
One more from this game, and it's on the other side, and I thought this clip was great, was Ja Morant, who had a good game. He had 20. And did you see him give him the too small? There was a little bit of that going on last night. Here's Morant. He ain't scared of nobody.
I think I did it too small to somebody who was too small. He came back and did it respectfully. He's 6'8", whatever. I would expect it. I thought it was a charge. He did it, and I don't back down from nobody. Don't care who you are. My job was to just come back. I got my bucket, and I set the tone. My teammates fed off of it, and you see what happened. So, top dog in our league. You take out the top dog. Who else you fear?
You get up, man.
I don't fear nobody anyway, but yeah, I ain't had to. I ain't had to get up. I ain't been down.
Listen, my man, he's talking about LeBron, but AD is a problem. You got to respect Davis. He can play. He's peanut brittle, but he can play. And there's no denying how great this kid is. And there's also no denying how much of a stupid moron he's been off the court with all of his guns and all of his problems. He's had to find a way in short order to grow up in a hurry because he's acted like an idiot since he's been in the league and had nothing but problems and suspensions. So when he plays basketball, he is magnificent. Guy's got game like coming out his ears. He's fun to watch play. He lit it up again last night. This guy's doing 360 moves, and he's got it all going, and he gets everybody involved. He can pass, bucket, score, dunk, run, do it all. My man does it all. I like his attitude. I'm not afraid of anybody. He climbs the trees. He'll go right in on Davis and try to poster him. This guy's legit.
He certainly does. The Warriors did something that doesn't happen very often. A win in Boston against the Celtics. 118-112. Getting late dagger time from Buddy Hield on NBC Sports Bay Area.
Horford gets Curry on the switch. Shot clock at 7. Buddy Hield bombs away a 3. Got it! Buddy buckets! Makes it a 7-point game!
Bob Fitzgerald on the sports leader with a Buddy dagger from the wing.
How about that? Good for the Warriors. We're never going to shed a tear when the Celtics lose. That's for sure. But the Warriors off to a great start now, being 8-1. Hornets beat the Pistons. Hawks beat the Knicks. Man, that Ricochet, 33 points on 6 made threes. That was a hell of a night for that kid. Big coming out party. Knicks never win in Atlanta. Trae Young telling all the Knicks fans to get the hell out of there, waving at him after.
Did you hear him? He's like,
Young
get out.
He loves beating the Knicks, man. Trae Young loves beating the Knicks.
What did I have, 8 in that game?
Yeah.
My God, easy money.
One outright.
What can you say about Hunter? Besides the fact that he's got to be healthy. Remember, he had the shoulder injury that kind of limited him at, once he got to the end of the season. 17.9, 10-point line last year, and he should be, as usual, a double-double machine. He's got to be able to continue to show the ability to try and shoot the ball from three.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Much like David Muir. Breaking news at this hour in the Spew newsroom.
Yes, and it's good that we're on the NBA because it has obviously NBA ties to it. So Bronny James, of course, we've talked about him quite a bit. The Lakers today assigned him to their NBA G League affiliate, which is South Bay. Now, he's going to debut with them versus Salt Lake City on Saturday. He will still be on the Lakers roster tomorrow night against the Sixers. Then he'll rejoin South Bay. And then Charnia goes on here. For now, the G League plan for Bronny is to play only South Bay home games, as he will shuttle between both leagues, and the team will manage his time on the respective rosters. So you could do this with a G League player. Pretty much go back and forth. He's going to play the home games for them, and then he'll come back and sit on the bench for the Lakers. Why not just let him play there? Who knows? But that's their plan.
Well, I think it's going to do him a world of good to play in the South Bay in the G League, without a doubt. And I don't think it's going to do him any good at all sitting on the Lakers bench. And when and if he gets any burn whatsoever in the big boy league games, he's done absolutely nothing. So he needs to be in the G League.
Yeah. And he only plays when it's a 30-point blowout. I mean, that's the only two times he
still does
got
nothing.
in.
And he still
when
does
the game
nothing.
is completely out of hand. So he needs burn is what he needs. And he's going to get a little bit, I guess, going and playing in the South Bay home games coming up in the G League. All right, couple of other things from last night. Clippers beat the Sixers 110-98. We told you earlier in the show the bad news about Maxey. He's going to be gone for a while. Paul George, of course, was his second game with the Sixers, but already his first game back in L.A. with the seeing the Clipper fans. And they gave him, I guess you could call it, Scotty, a mixed reception last night. Smattering of boos, couple of cheers here and there. George didn't seem very thrilled about that.
Does it bother you, though, at all that they booed you for large stretches of that game? Like after 5 years here?
Yeah.
Playing your heart out for them, like, does that bother you at all?
I mean, it's stupid. I was a free agent. You know what I mean? I was a free agent. It wasn't something that I, demanded a trade or, went against the team here. Like, I was a free agent. The team presented something that was team friendly, and I did what was best for me in that situation. So there was the cheers. I appreciate them. Those were the ones that I played hard for. The boos, I didn't get it. I still don't get it when I go to Indy. But it is what it is. It's sports. That's what's in sports.
Are you kidding me? I mean, honest to Christ. Like, this is the simplest thing in the world. When you play somewhere and leave, whether it's via trade, whether it's free agency or whatever, and you go back, they give you the business. It doesn't matter what you did. It really doesn't. They'll boo their mother. I mean, are you kidding me? These are fans. They drink and get hammered and go to games, and you're the enemy now. You don't play for us anymore. You're the bad guy. That's how these guys, I can't believe they boo me. Well, here's another news flash for you, Paul. You were there 5 years. You never did jack shack. You never did anything
that's why.
except put up a bunch of numbers. He is a numbers guy. He's like Damian Lillard. All he does is put up his big numbers and never wins shack. I mean, honestly.
Well, but that's the difference. Like, if the only way you avoid that, getting booed is if you brought them
LeBron
a championship.
Or Michael Jordan.
Well, right. And even another small example,
Kobe.
When Kawhi goes to Toronto, that's the 1 year he was there. He brought him a championship. I think that they're pretty good to Kawhi when he goes up to play the Raptors. They love him for what he did, bringing them their only title. You look at other sports, you can find those same situations. Might have been the last time he played. But still, if you don't win a title somewhere, and he was only 5 years. It wasn't like he was there for 20. He was there for 5, and they did nothing. And he barely played half the game. So get over. And did you hear him slip into at the end? I don't understand why I still get it in Indiana, too. He's still upset that he gets booed in Indiana. He begged out of Indiana.
This guy
he didn't want to play for
so much effing money. Who cares who boos you? You know what?
Yeah.
Where I come from, being booed is like an honor. When they boo you, you're the baddest dude on the planet. They boo you because you're the best player. They boo you because you matter. They boo you because you're the star. Like, who's he kidding? Like, grow up, bro.
Yeah,
like, how old are you? I mean, is this guy like a grown man?
You got to remember, a lot of
like a kid.
A lot of these guys who make $200-300 million, they're sensitive. They're very sensitive, and they just want to be liked, and that's what it all comes
down. Girly man, little bit sensitive.
He wants to be loved. He wants to be loved. That's all.
Yeah.
The Cavs beat the Pelicans. They're now 9-0.
JJ Redick got booed his entire life. He got booed in his mother's womb. When he played at Duke, everyone hated his guts. When he played in the NBA, everyone hated his guts. And he literally got off on it. Like, he played better when they booed him. Like, man,
there are guys who do that.
Honestly.
There are guys that love the boos, and they thrive on that, and they want to then stick the knife in you when you're booing them. And then some guys,
that's the way
it should be.
That's the way it should be.
But some guys are like that. They're upset and they're sensitive when they get booed.
Boring ass night. Now he's going to play by himself without Maxey and Embiid. See how that goes for him.
Cavs are 9-0. They're the only undefeated team because the Thunder lost to the Nuggets last night.
Cover.
This Joker is sick. 23, 20, and 16. That was. He had 16 dimes. He had 20 boards, 23 points. That's just wild numbers from him. And Westbrook had a huge night, and they're 3-0 since they put Westbrook in the starting lineup. Your boy Russ can still play a little bit.
Brody has got sickening numbers in Denver. Like, out of the gate, sickening numbers. The guy's been going off. Meanwhile, he's got a broke-ass Jay, but he's putting up all kinds of numbers with the Nuggets.
He is.
What can you say about Hunter? Besides the fact that he's got to be healthy. Remember, he had the shoulder injury that kind of limited him at, once he got to the end of the season. 17.9, 10-point line last year, and he should be, as usual, a double-double machine. He's got to be able to continue to show the ability to try and shoot the ball from three.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The Suns were down 15 last night at home to the Heat, and what happened, Carver High?
No good. They ended up coming back and winning. No good for the Heat, we should say. 115 to 112. Suns get it done last night. Durant has scored 30 or more in 5 of the Suns' 8 games this year. Your boy Slim Reaper still getting it done at his advanced NBA age, I guess you could say.
32 last night. He's been going off.
Going off indeed. Kings beat the Raptors as well. How about this one, too? Sabonis, first player since 77-78. He had a triple-double, no turnovers, no missed shots, no missed free throws. That's 45-plus years since a perfect game on a basketball court for Sabonis last night for DeMontis. So unbelievable job by him, and the Kings take care of the Raptors. Doc Rivers says he's not frustrated with Chris Middleton's extended absence. Well, why should he be? He never plays. I mean, just enough.
Really
you might as well pretend he's not even on the team. Like, he's not on the team. He doesn't play. Man, they're in a bad way
he just gets
too
paid.
right now, the Bucks.
He gets paid and
That's
makes
it.
a fortune and never plays. That's why he's in the league still, because he wants that money. Because he never plays.
You need that.
When
Need
he
the
does
bags.
play. He can play. He can score. But the guy never play. I play I play 7,000% more than him.
It is amazing. It really is. The Bucks are playing tonight. I'll give you that in a moment. More injury news for you. There's a lot of this here early in the NBA season. Spurs forward Jeremy Sochan will have surgery on his fractured thumb. That's never good if you play basketball. And Aaron Gordon of the Nuggets will miss multiple weeks with a calf strain. So no good for Gordon. Yes, bad news all around for them. Only 3 games in the NBA tonight. We'll start in Chicago, where the Timberwolves are in town against the Bulls. T-Wolves minus 9.5 on the road, 226.5 the total.
You got to take that piece in Chicago, right at the United Center, that 9.5 at home. You got to take the Bulls and the points, in my view. I mean, the T-Wolves have not looked good coming out of the gates at all. They're sleepwalking to start the season after their fancy run last year. They think that it's all easy peasy and every night's going to get handed to them, but we all know you got to work.
I'm a little nervous because the Bulls played last night and they were on the road. You know, they were in Dallas last night, so it's second night of a back-to-back for them. They got smashed. But it is a heavy number. It's a very heavy number with the 9.5 in Chicago.
I mean, are they just going to bend over every night, the Bulls? Like, they lost by 20. Are they just going to, really? You play in the city with broad shoulders, you're going to show up for the games? They got guys that can play.
I don't trust them, but that is a lot of lumber.
Toby, I like V. I like Levine. I like Ball. I mean, show the F up.
It's what you should do. I think some people thought at this point the Jazz could be 1-6 to start the year, but I don't think many thought that the Bucks would also be 1-6 as they get ready to play tonight. So both these teams off to miserable starts. Bucks -8.5, 230.5 is the total in Milwaukee tonight. I know that Giannis was a game time for them, but he did not play last game. He should be out there tonight.
Honestly, if they don't whack the Jazz, then break it up. Start breaking it up because the season's over. If you start 1-7 and you lose to the 1-6 Jazz, I know they're 1-6. They have to win tonight, and I mean impressively. They need to blow them out tonight at the 5-serve. Come on.
Officially listed as questionable, and the Bucks play, I believe, at the Garden against the Knicks tomorrow night. Scotty, and the Knicks are going to need one bad. So
Cry me a river. They play every night, the NBA. Man up.
And finally, Portland is in San Antonio against the Spurs. Both of these teams 3-5 to start the year. Spurs -4.5, 217.5 the total.
I mean, honestly, is this guy going to bust out and do something, Wembanyama?
Very slow start. Very slow start. I mean, because I chased the props early in the season. I tread lightly, and I like playing Wembanyama because any night he could just go nuts. Right. He has done nothing through the first 8 games of this season. He has been very quiet for San Antonio.
Now, the last game, the Blazers came up big, and then they won big, so I'm worried. But you would think that the Spurs could win this game by 5 in their building off the Riverwalk. Come on.
I would like to think so. And now that I said all that, I have to play Wembanyama again tonight, because he'll probably go off because we just did all this here today. So I have to.
What can you say about Hunter? Besides the fact that he's got to be healthy. Remember, he had the shoulder injury that kind of limited him at, once he got into the end of the season. 17.9, 10.9 last year, and he should be, as usual, a double-double machine. He's got to be able to continue to show the ability to try and shoot the ball from 3.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
A lot of concern, I would say, for Georgia in Carson Beck. 3 interceptions. Once again, his third 3-interception game in the last 5 for UGA.
You can argue if they had Alex Orji as their starting quarterback for Georgia, they would be perfect and unbeaten right now just by not turning the football over and running it with your talented backfield.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.